Hey lovelies, thanks for stopping by my channel today. I am so excited for today's Reflections palette. This has become a tradition for my friend Kara and I in this series. If you are new to the series, we created this to really get more use and celebrate the single eyeshadows that we have. So we decided that we would every month come up with a theme and build a 10-pen palette around that theme. And I think that it's been such a great creative outlet, and it's also helped us use the makeup we have more. And we really love that over the years, this collaboration that we've done has become sort of like an open collab that any creator can join in on. And if you're not a creator and you just want to share with us your palette, we love getting to see pictures, swatches, whatever on Instagram. So I will make sure, of course, to have my friend Kara, Beauty and the Frizz, linked down below with her video and any other creators that join in. And by the way, if you do want to join in, we always welcome it. And we always like to say the only rule here is that you use 10 shadows, and that could be, from palettes that you have, it could be single shadows. So we would love to have you join in. And if we haven't met before, my name is Kelly and I'm a professional hair and makeup artist. And here on my channel, I strive to keep beauty real. Real honest, real relatable, and real fun. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, don't forget to click subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos, like future BYOPs. So we're gonna dive in. As I mentioned, I will have other videos linked down below. Kara's from this month. Maybe I'll even link last month's and other creators as they start to roll in. And I am very excited to show you this year. Like I said, I think this will be our third time doing this palette, and it really is about reflecting back on this year of 2023 and choosing some shadows that represent that. So I love getting to see everybody's videos on this. Doing it myself can tend to be a little bit of a challenge. I love watching everybody else's a little bit more, I'm not gonna lie. So I cannot wait to share with you my shades. By the way, this is the look that I will be creating with my palette. I really think that this BYOP is really about sharing the shades and sharing the story of our year. So I have this look just in quick at the end, and I do have my last live miss tonight, so I just wanted something, I don't know, maybe I'm gonna dress up, maybe I'm gonna wear sweatpants, who knows? So I just wanted something versatile, and I think this look is very versatile. So now I'm gonna zoom you in. I am going to try to get the lighting as good as I can. I tell you what, this whole week here in Wisconsin, it is just like overcast, overcast, overcast. It has been rainy, drizzly, like it's just gray as heck. And so right now it is incredibly dark, even though it's only 3 o'clock. All right, so I'm gonna zoom you in so that you can see these beautiful shadows up close and personal. I'll of course be doing live swatches, and then I'll have a sped up tutorial of this look at the end. Let's get into it. All right, time for the palette and of course what these shades represent. So you can see the color story here. I think that this is it's a very Kelly 2023 color story. And I'll get into why as we get through here. So as we go through, I'm of course gonna give you swatches of each shade, give you a little, kind of like note on what they represent. And then of course I will do a look at the swatches up close when we're done. I will try to have all of these, if not linked, I'll at least have them listed down below, and any discount codes I might have as well. All right, so this first shade is one that I actually chose to wear on Christmas Day as sort of like the main focus of my look. And when I used it, I was like, yeah, this definitely has to be in my 2023 Reflections palette, mostly because it is honestly probably my favorite single shadow that I got all year, but it is also representative of a fun experience of this year. And I'll get into that because it actually kind of has to do with the next shade. And so I'll get into that in just a sec. But this one, this is Ferric. And I mean, if you know me and you know my makeup preferences, we have like a rose gold flipping into green with sparkle. I mean, what else could I possibly need? This is from Cleona, by the way, but you can probably tell that. So this shade I actually picked up at the Polish and Beauty Expo in Chicago, and I picked out a few shades from Cleona. I was so excited that they were going to be there, and the minute I touched this one, I was like, yep, she's gonna be mine. So, I mean, you can see there, look, you've got that beautiful green into that lovely rose gold, and there's also like an ambery tone. Maybe if I pop this down just a little bit more. Okay, yeah, so there you can see. I mean, it is just so, so pretty. There is just something so magical about the shade. And I think that it is sort of that like, I mean, it's not necessarily a neutral, but it's that like spicy, almost neutral. And for me, the way, like I said, especially the last 6 months, the way that I have been enjoying wearing my makeup is to have like a multi-chrome that is unique and special, but doesn't have to be like in your face color. It just has to have a beautiful shimmer and a shift and be something that's almost like a double take shade. And I've really been enjoying that. And so that's one that I definitely had to put in. And if I got my ish together, I did a little short / reel of my Christmas Day makeup. So that one is either up now or it will be up very soon. So I just absolutely love that shade, and it's definitely going to be one. I can absolutely see myself hitting pan on that shade at some point. I mean, Ferric is just going to be that shade that if I'm like, I want to have a little fun, but I want it to be like too out there, it's gonna be the shade for me. Okay, so this next shade is also another one that I picked up at the Polish and Beauty Expo, and this was such a fun experience for me, not just because I got to go to the expo, but it was mostly because I finally got to meet up with my friend Liz, and it was so great that we were actually able to meet in person, and we just had a lot of fun on that trip, and it was just great to like make that in-person connection. And to me, that is really what I have gleaned a lot of enjoyment from in this year. And I think that you'll see that as we get in here. It's really been about, you know, the friendships that I have. They have been a mainstay in my life this year and sort of been like my life preserver through the year. So let me know if down below friendship has been kind of what's keeping you going through this year, because, you know, we're all doing our best. And we need friends. We need that connection, that community. So this one I picked out, this is Trefoil Light, and this I was very excited to get because the brand was just releasing their, is it Jeweled Light Multichromes? So this formula, and if you were at the Polish and Beauty Expo, you were able to get it in advance. So I was like, or at least like a little bit in advance. And so I was so excited because, you know, having that opportunity to get to touch, swatch, and purchase before a lot of other people is not something that we as small creators get to do very often. Now, I wanted to share this one because, I mean, you know that I love like a good green moment, but I know that Liz loves a good blue moment, and I think that this one has that beautiful green and blue. So I wanted to pick one out to honor my very good friend. And this shade, I love this light formula because it doesn't have that dark base, and I just feel like it makes it more universal. It makes it more user-friendly. You know, you could put a dark base underneath it to make it pop more. Let's say if you don't have the other jeweled multi-chromes. I'm gonna zoom you in just a little bit more if I can. Oh yeah, there we are. Hi. So you can put a dark base under this if you'd like, but the nice thing about this is you can blend it out. If you aren't one for like wanting a cut crease multi-chrome look, you want something that's a little softer, you can blend this out and it still looks really great. So I love this. It's got that little bit of blue there and it's just so, so pretty. So I really enjoy this one. We had a lot of fun in Chicago, and it was sort of like my first girls trip I've done in a very long time. So that for me was just so amazing. So Liz, thank you so much. And you know that your friendship means so, so much to me. And we really had so much fun on that trip. It was just so great. You know, we got to go to the Polish and Beauty Expo. We did a boat ride and saw the fireworks. We were able to just kind of walk around. We're both fragrance nerds, so we got to spend some time sniffing way too many perfumes. And it was really great. I also love that trip because I got to see my friend Steven and their partner. And it was just, again, it was just all about that friendship, that community. So it was a great trip for me, and I definitely had a blast. So this one might be a little self-serving. This is my shade Virgo with Pretties for Your Face. Look at that dip that I already have in this pan. I love this shadow. Yes, this is a collab that I did with the brand, but I think that if it wasn't, it would still be a shade that I'd be using all the time. And the thing that really means the most to me is when I launched the two shades, Virgo and the Maiden, so many of you reached out to me, whether it was in DMs, whether it was tagging me on Instagram, you know, talking about it on YouTube. A lot of you said you just loved these shades. And for me, it was really about creating two shades that were very wearable for all skin tones. And, you know, this one is a bit warmer than the Maiden. So if you're just hearing about these shades right now, if you want to take a peek, the Maiden is a little bit more of that like taupey, almost purple. But I wanted a, this isn't quite rose gold, you know, it's sort of like a mauvey, little bit of rosy brown. It just has a beautiful shimmer. I mean, oh, look at that. It's just so, so pretty. I love this shade so very much. And I wanted to create shades that would just look great, that would perform well. Again, it's just that like you could wear it as a one and done. You could really build a beautiful like glam look with it. And I just love this. The formula is beautiful. I mean, Pretties for Your Face shadows are so incredibly low priced. And so when I was talking to Meg, I was like, you know, the number one thing to me is always that it's smooth, smooth, smooth. And she did a great job with the formula of this. When she sent me a few samples, it was like, oh, okay, let's tweak this, let's tweak that. But the formula was always smooth and creamy. And you know, that isn't all of the brand's shades, but it's something that's really important to me. So all 4 of my shades, I feel like have an incredible texture as far as like what I like to see, something that's not super flaky. And this one just makes me so happy. And more valuable than that to me is the fact that you've all seemed to like these. So that is pretty much why I put that one in here. All right, our first matte. I'm gonna be honest, there's not a lot of mattes in here, which I guess is good. Maybe that means that it was a good year since a lot of these are shiny. I don't know. But this shade is Persephone, and this one's from Divina Cosmetics. This is just a beautiful, it's like olive, khaki, and light brown had a baby. I mean, there's just a dab. There's just a dab of brown, like a grungy brown in it. Just makes it, you know, that sort of Divina vibe and a very wearable shade. So this one is really to represent my kayaking trips with Jeremy this year. Sadly, we don't live somewhere where kayaking trips are, you know, represented by like aqua colors. You know, it's going to be more of those like kind of murky greenish shades. But I wanted something that also was just very nature driven. And I feel like this shade is really good for that. So this is just that sort of like neutralized olive. I tell you what, if you like an olive shade or you have an olive skin tone and you don't have Persephone, this is definitely one that needs to go on your list from Divina. Now, this one is actually what I have in my crease over, you know, kind of like the blend out of another shade. And this on my skin tone, because I do have an olive undertone, it can just be that like hint of green, brown, khaki, you know what I mean? Like if I buff it out a lot, but I can also build it up to have more of this green vibe. And I just think that this shade is just so lovely. It can be used in multiple ways and I just love it. And you know that I love the Divina Mattes formula. So Persephone, you know, Jeremy and I never would have thought. I never would have thought that I would be someone that was going out into nature for extended periods of time on purpose. And Jeremy really kind of like, I don't want to say pushed me, but gave me the comfort factor to try things that I'd never done before and not make me feel stupid about it. I'm a Virgo. I don't like ever feeling stupid about anything. So I just feel safe. You know, I just feel safe in trying new things with him in both like the actual safety and then also like my emotional safety. And I just fell in love with kayaking. It's a great way to be out on the water, getting a little bit of activity, experiencing nature, and it's not like too like crazy hard. But the last trip we did of the year was my trip in September, which I don't even know if I ever actually ended up sharing any footage of, but we went for my birthday up to the Brule River here in Wisconsin, and we did this like 13 or 16 mile paddle, and it was epic. It had all sorts of different terrain, like super, super shallow, challenging water, and also like some good class 3 rapids, I think. And so it was a lot of fun. And we definitely want to go back for a longer period of time. It was just a quick little trip, but we definitely had fun with that. All right, so let's see this next shade. Oh yeah, I love this one. Okay, so this I believe is one of the shades that I got in one of my mystery bags from Sydney Grace this year. This is the shade Butter Cake. And this shade I actually used in my dupe of the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette. And I just got so much positive feedback on that video. You know, it did bring me quite a few new followers, which I love. Hello, if you found me through that video. But, you know, people seemed really appreciative of having a chance to like take a moment to pause, to look at their own, or encouragement. I mean, you can all take the chance whenever you want, but maybe encouragement to take a pause to look within their own collections and see if they had shades that would mimic that palette, because it was very lusted after. And I know that a lot of us got the Sydney Grace mystery bags. So I really appreciated the connection and the comments that people had with that video. But oh, look at this one. It is so pretty. This one is the one that I have on my lids today. And what I did not realize is, because I put the shimmer on first, if you buff this out, it has the most beautiful reddish brown base that can really be like a gorgeous one and done. So it's definitely gonna be featured in my one and done eyeshadow video coming up. But it's so pretty. It's like a rosy brown, rosy, what would we call this? Rosy antique coin kind of color with a like beautiful, just like that warm base. we're just gonna go with that. But I really do love that. And I love that you all seem to enjoy that. And it also, that video was so, not even the video itself, but the process of duping that palette was so cathartic for me. And like, yeah, I don't need that palette. I have that palette all still together because I used it so much after that video. And it's like, yeah, I'm just gonna keep this together until it's not serving me anymore. But it's such a mainstay in my collection now. And I just love it. And it's really making me think about doing more duping the vibes videos in the new year. Also, you know, just building more palettes just for my own enjoyment. So if there's a palette that you'd like to see me dupe in the new year, like the best time to kind of like tag me in it is right away when it launches, so that I have, or not even right when it launches, but when it's sort of sneak peeked. So I have some time to sort of do that. And I'm sort of getting off on a tangent here, but I did get a couple like comments of like, how is this a duping video if you don't even have the palette to compare to? It's like, it's duping the vibes, and the whole point is to see if I really need to buy the palette or not, if I have it in my collection. If I buy the palette, I don't need to do the duping. Like, yes, it's maybe really helpful to some of you, but as like a fellow makeup lover and someone who probably has more makeup than they will ever use in their lifetime, it was sort of just like, hey, let's all try to do this ourselves. And even if you don't have the shades that I duped, you probably have something similar, right? So it was just an interesting thing. It's like, yeah, I know that there are some creators out there, especially ones who receive things in PR, that are very easily able to like, oh, let me show you what you could dupe this out with. But that wasn't the vibe for me that time. Anyway, we're moving on. So the next one is the shade Phoenix from Terra Moons. And I know that this one, oh, you're not even gonna be able to see the glory of this one yet. Hopefully in the swatch, and definitely in the up close swatches. But this one has been in other videos. I love this one. The formula of it is amazing, and the shade is just absolutely gorgeous. So this one is actually to represent my gorgeous friend Natalia Lavrova here on YouTube. I know Natalia is kind of just starting to get back into the YouTube scene after being gone for a bit, but we met through our channels, and Jeremy and I got to hang out with her in New York City before we went on our cruise in February, and actually right after the cruise as well. And I was so grateful to Natalia for like being our amazing tour guide through the city. And it was just, again, so great to finally meet her in person. And it's this very odd thing of like, okay, you've never met this person, you've talked to them quite a bit, and you meet them and you're like, oh yeah, hi, it's you. Like, but instead of seeing you on my phone screen, whether it's through Marco Polo or seeing a video or something, it's like I'm actually seeing you in real life. And she's just an amazing person. And I chose this shade because, especially after also getting to meet up with her for a second time in Las Vegas when she went out for the Creators and Friends event. And while I missed the Creators and Friends event, I was able to get there the next day because I was going to be working. Oh my gosh, I just ran through my swatches. Oh shoot, am I gonna have to redo some of these? Probably. I just had an itch and I just went like, look, okay, also representative of the year. Hold on, I gotta grab a makeup wipe. I'll be right back. Oh my God, what better way to end the year than with my worst swatches of the year? Why not? Why not? But anyway, Natalia and I got to meet up when we were both in Las Vegas, and it was just great to get to spend some time with her again. And I told her, I'm like, what are the chances that we would get to meet up twice in the same year for really unrelated reasons, kind of, sort of. And I just feel very grateful for that. So the reason I chose this is Phoenix just has such a beautiful brilliance and light. And, you know, since Natalia and I met up in two cities that are known for their beautiful lights, obviously, you know, New York City and then Vegas as well. So I was like, I need to have something that is representative of just brilliant light. And so this is Phoenix right here, and it is just beautiful. I think it goes really well with a lot of the colors in here because it's almost a rainbow. It's almost an entire rainbow, especially if I shift here. I mean, you can really see almost like a blue-green through yellow, through amber, and it's just absolutely beautiful. So, so pretty. Yeah, hopefully right there. I can see it in my mirror. Hopefully it's showing on the camera, but I literally see like blue indigo, a little bit of green, yellow, amber, red, and then almost like a little bit of violet in the undertone of the base. So love this one so much. Okay, hopefully we can kind of keep things clean from here on out. Not what comes out of my mouth, perhaps. I can't guarantee that, but what's going on my arm. Okay, so this next one is Sydney Grace Versailles, and this one is just a beautiful. It is definitely more of like a light rose goldy shade. I just love this one. So I wasn't quite sure how I wanted to represent this memory. But this year for Jeremy's birthday, I surprised him with a trip to a little city about 2.5 hours away from us. And I rented e-bikes for us to kind of tool about. And the reason I think that it was so special is Jeremy never, ever would have guessed that I would do something like that. And so he was very surprised. And we honestly had a blast. Other than the fact that I completely ripped off basically 2 of my nails. It was horrible, but we had a great time on the trip. And while we were up there, there was a jewelry store that I had really been wanting to look into called Hello Adorn. At this point, you've probably all heard about Hello Adorn. And my very first purchase was this right here, my little Valley Trio, which you can't get their rose gold anymore. They're phasing out, which makes me so sad. But you can get this little stack in both the silver and yellow gold. Anyway, this was my first Hello Adorn purchase, and it was a slippery slope after that. So I thought, why not represent that trip with the beautiful color of that Valley Trio? So we had such a great time. I mean, the stop at the jewelry store was obviously not the highlight of the adventure for me, but it was a very important part, and it, led me to getting so many things. Both of the necklaces, oh, you can't see them right now. Let me see if I can lift up. There we go. Both of the necklaces that I'm wearing today are from that brand. All of the rings that I have on, it's just become an obsession. And Jeremy and I just had such a lovely time, and I was so excited to just get to, really celebrate him for his birthday. I think he had a lot of fun. It was a dashing trip, as most of ours seem to be, other than if we do get a chance to go on a cruise or a longer trip, like everything else is just like short and sweet and trying to pack it all in. So we had a lot of fun on that trip. All right, so let's see. What else do we have? Okay. Speaking of our cruise, so Jeremy and I were able to go on another cruise this last winter, like I mentioned, in February. So we did meet up with Natalia in New York, and then we did a longer cruise, and then met up with Natalia again, and then went home. And on this trip, the trip didn't go perfectly. By the way, I do have sort of like a vlog / chit chat of that trip. So if you do want to see that, I'll have it linked down below in case you're curious. But on that trip, not everything went great, but we still did have a really fun experience. And I just saw a couple days ago, how like your phone kind of flashes at pictures. And there was a picture or a video of me chatting, but there was a picture of me, but there was a video that came up of me like chatting about the trip, and I was sort of like vlogging, if you will. And I was wearing one of my favorite swimsuit tops, and it's this beautiful, like bright yellow top. I was like, yes, I need to have that. That is such a color that that I love. It makes me happy, and it really does make me think about that trip. So I chose this shade here, and this is Dandelions Co. Sunlight, which is also so fitting for that trip, because let me tell you, especially in this week where we've had 0 sun and it is now 4 o'clock and it looks like completely dark outside, I just need a little sunlight in my life. And that's one thing that I love about getting to take a more tropical vacation, is usually it comes along with a lot of sun. So this beautiful matte is honestly almost the same color as that swimsuit. And so it just makes me happy. This color just makes me happy. So honestly, I really do like these Dandelions mattes, but gosh, they are so soft. I don't know if I will ever purchase anymore, just because you have to baby them a lot. And I'm good with taking care of my shadows, but when I'm like afraid to move a palette, that's not great. But I do love this shade. So again, this one just represents that swimsuit that I had on, and then also just like the brightness of the trip and just how much I love sunlight and how much it makes me happy. So Mother Nature, please bring some. All right, so this one is, again, a little bit of talk about my Vegas trip. I was so incredibly excited. We didn't get to meet up for long. But I finally was able to meet Kara in Vegas. So she was going to be there for the Creators and Friends trip. I was just so very grateful that it worked out that Kara and Natalia and Ash from Dr. Ash and Her Makeup and I were able to meet up for dinner at Vanderpump at the Paris Hotel. So it was such a good time. Again, I would have loved to have had longer, but we were all just trying to like cram it all in. So we were able to meet up there, and the first thing that we did, we ended up ordering drinks, and we all got these amazing espresso martinis. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you missed it, but I will try to make sure to pop the picture of the espresso martini up. So what better shade to represent finally getting to meet Kara than the shade Espresso from the Sydney Grace Coffee Talk palette. And this is honestly like almost the exact shade that was in that espresso martini. It was the very best espresso martini I've ever had in my life. I did not eat the beignet that was on top. I did not need that, but the espresso martini itself was amazing. I also think that, you know, a good rich brown really can like balance out any palette. So it was great to have it in this palette just for a deepening shade, but you know, mostly I just wanted to say I was so excited to finally meet up with Kara. And you know what? Again, we were there for such a short period of time. I didn't actually get a picture with just Kara and I, like, hey, it was sort of like, oh my gosh, you're here. Okay, let's sit down so we can like hang out. So we did sort of get a picture of all four of us, I think, like sitting at the table. I think time was just so precious that it was really about just getting to like visit and hang out. And so next time we'll get some more pictures. We did also end up being there like right at the time as Samantha March and Aniela Nyquist and some of the other people who were at the Creators and Friends event came in for their dinner. So we were able to go over and chat. I was able to say hi to Sam since I wasn't able to make it to the event, and I got a picture with her. So it was just a really fun night. So I just really loved that. And Kara, we got to figure out something for this year to be able to spend a little bit more time together. Again, it's just really been a year of getting to celebrate, taking some time to get to meet the people that I've made these connections with and, you know, get to hug them in person. Okay, so this last shade, and I think I might have done this last year, is share something, you know, a word, a feeling, something that I want to carry into the next year and really have as a focus. And while I've said it a lot in this video, I still want it to remain connections, because that is what has made me so happy. And it's just making me realize that that is where I need to put my focus in this upcoming year, is really building new connections, maintaining and, you know, strengthening the ones that I already have, because that is what makes this life so worth living. And, you know, just knowing that you have a wonderful community out there to support you. And it's just really been what has been so special to me. So this shade, I wanted something that was, you know, light, really happy, sort of brought something a little special. And I had to bring this one out because my good friend, Stephen Ford, they are actually an Aries. So I just want to honor them. Stephen and I really haven't gotten to meet up a lot this year, but in the future, my friend. So this is the shade Golden Aries from Pretties for Your Face. I actually do have a few friends who are Aries. So this one is, again, I mean, it's a yellow, hello. So of course I needed to have another gorgeous inner corner shade, but the nice thing about this shade is it is light and bright, and a little bit special. You might not be able to see it in the swatch right now. Oh, maybe you can, but it does have a little duochrome shift. I wouldn't say it's a multi-chrome, but it's this almost like beautiful buttercream yellow with a pinky peachy shift to it. And I just think that it's so lovely. It's that sort of like understated, so special, like one of those things that, you know, I need in a palette. It's essential. It's something that I need to have to like brighten up. It's the shade that's on my inner corner right now. I just kind of like dusted it on. This could also, you know, be a beautiful lid shade, especially I think over that yellow shade. That would be really fun. So this, again, it's essential in a palette for me to have a light, bright, fun shade like this, but it's also essential in life. And I really hope the same for all of you, that you are able to really be able to spend time with the people that you've made connections with and also find some very fulfilling ones in this next year as well. All right. So hopefully I didn't smudge this up too much. I did go over and build up over the swatches that I already had. I did not wipe them off and start over again. We're moving on past 2023. I wasn't going to put that much work into it. So I hope that you've enjoyed this journey through my 2023 reflections via eyeshadow swatches. And I would really love to know, do you have something that you'd like to carry forth into the new year? You know, obviously mine is connections. Let me know what yours will be. We can all start out this new year kind of like putting our goal in sight. All right, so now we'll get into that video of this look, and then I will share with you the theme for next month's palette. All right, here are the shades. We have Ferric from Cleona, Trefoil Light from Cleona. This is Virgo from Pretties for Your Face, Persephone from Divina Cosmetics. This here is Buttercake from Sydney Grace. We have Phoenix from Terra Moons. Let me see if I can kind of get all those colors. It's hard in this lighting today. That kind of gives you a peek there. Sorry, it's a little ridiculous. And then this is Versailles from Sydney Grace. We have Sunlight from Dandelions Co. Espresso from the Coffee Talk palette from Sydney Grace. And then this one is Golden Aries, also from Pretties for Your Face. All right, lovelies, I hope you enjoyed that brief little take on how I got this look. I think that this is absolutely sort of like my vibe for the year, especially I would say like the last half of the year. Just a look that is quick, easy, and always makes me look confident. So I hope you enjoyed this year's Reflections BYOP. I cannot wait to see what everyone else picked out for their shadows. And like I said before, I think the beauty of this BYOP is just that glance back at the year and both taking time to celebrate the moments that were great, and also I know I've had times before that I've just been honest about hard times, and it's sort of good to be able to look back at that. It's cathartic to be able to talk about it. So I thank you all for being here for that. And again, like I said, I cannot wait to see everybody else's videos, which by the way, I will have linked down below. Of course, I'll have Kara's video and then any other creators who join in. And usually as creators sort of like start rolling in their videos, I always add them in the description box. All right, so next month's video. So next month we have decided to do the Pantone color of the year, which is Juicy Peach, Fuzzy Peach, something peach. And last year we did, or I guess technically the beginning of this year, we did the Viva Magenta. So I think we've decided to just sort of keep in the tradition of this because I think it's great to sort of like start out the year and have a way to sort of like look at projections for the year as far as like fashion, makeup, all those things go. And I love seeing everyone's take on like one color and sort of building around it. So that's what we'll be doing in next month's video. So make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on that one. You know I love a peach moment. You know I love a peach moment. So I'm really excited to do that one. And again, like I said, I really appreciate you all for being here through this BYOP series, whether you are new and this is your first one or you have been here for the 2+ years that Kara and I have been doing this. So I hope you all had a great holiday season. As this video goes up, it's going to almost be New Year's. So I am wishing you the best in 2024. I really am just so grateful for this community that we've built. I know that I've said this before, but just getting to interact with all of you, and I found some great friendships through having my channel here. And, you know, knowing that this content, whether it is helpful, entertaining, you know, you've been researching and you found my thoughts valuable, that just really makes it all worthwhile for me. So thank you so much. I will again have everything linked down below if you want to check out the other creators, and I will see you really soon.